True on Spotify, or you can catch us on YouTube as I continue to try to segment these different parts so that you don't have to watch the whole thing if you don't want to, because you may be like poor Nathaniel behind the camera with his hand up on his. He's doing this, yeah. He's barely. He's like, I got to watch these people
He's
3
like,
days
what
a
are they
week.
talking about
They
now?
don't pay me enough for this. He's thinking, what job can I get that pays better? Unbelievable. We need a camera on him. He's pretty fun. So, jumping Joe Biden heads across the pond. Was really disappointed, really. You know that, Kathy?
Well, okay, go ahead. In what way?
The poor queen had to meet with this guy.
Oh, bless her heart.
This guy is such a tool. But did you see the pomp and circumstance that went with that?
No, I didn't see any TV this weekend.
Oh, they had this. I only caught bits and pieces. But they put out this big platform that was covered, and it's at a great distance from everybody. And you see Jumpin' Joe, Uncle Joe, Tax Hike Joe.
Even though he doesn't do much. All that's jumping is taxes and prices at the grocery store and at the tank.
Yeah, we can start calling him Gassy Joe.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah, and so Jumpin' Joe, Uncle Joe, Gassy Joe, Tax Hiking Joe Biden met with the Queen. Not sure what we accomplished with that. What I do think is interesting is that Her Royal Highness has really come out and making a political statement for the monarchy. I don't remember the last time I have seen them cover her at a G7 summit, but she was there, and she gave a speech on the opening day. She's out mingling. I mean, she is a prominent face at the G7.
Interesting.
Yeah, normally the prime minister kind of has the front run on that deal.
What was her speech about? I mean, what did she speak on?
She spoke to the G7. I'm not sure. I have to go back and read it for you, but normally, Boris Johnson would be the guy that's kind of at the head, It was funny, though. Boris Johnson had to correct Joe Biden at the G7 summit, so I'll get into that here more in a minute.
Do tell.
Yeah, that was pretty funny stuff.
I did not. I was trying to have a low-stress, low-impact weekend and stayed away from all the news clips coming through. So he did have a flub up because I thought I saw something come across. Okay.
Yeah, Biden wrongly suggested Johnson hadn't introduced South African President Cyril Ramaphosa at the time, and he had. In fact, UK Prime Minister appeared to twice wave away the president's interruption, and he wouldn't stop. Well, there's a picture of, that's President Trump. No, who is that?
That's President Biden with the Queen and with Jill Biden.
Are my eyeballs not working?
Yeah. That's Biden with the Queen and with Jill Biden.
Is there something wrong with his hair?
No, it's a shadow.
Okay, because I'm like...
No, there's a big shadow.
Yeah, I'm like, my eyes aren't working. But look,
he's taller, so the shadow of the canopy is not catching. It's catching on him, but not on the two ladies.
Is that Donald Trump sitting up there with orange hair?
Oh gosh, no.
I'm like, whoa.
No.
But look at the middle though. The monarch speaks the truth. Look at her. She looks very British and very disapproving of her position right now.
I think that's kind of how she always looks, isn't it?
No, she was looking happy the other day on the G7 at the G7 summit. No, she was looking pretty happy, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, and so crazy stuff. But yeah, so Boris Johnson's waving off President Biden like, shut up, dude. I've already taken care of this. But he did, and he wouldn't stop. And he continued to suggest that Johnson had failed to introduce the South African president at the round table of world
leaders. So he's literally
leaders.
like interrupting while somebody's trying to talk?
Yeah, it's on Twitter.
Okay.
And it's big news.
And that's one of those things somebody will make up. You and I have been to a bajillion events where maybe somebody didn't introduce you and you're an elected official or a former elected official or a candidate or whatever. Somebody always corrects that at some point during the event. But I guess he just thought he had to be...
Yeah. He said it twice, and he goes.
Monitor.
So this is what. So the prime minister introduces the president from India, and the president from South Africa. So then Biden goes, and the president of South Africa, Boris, and Boris goes, and the president of South Africa, as I said earlier on, and Biden goes, oh, you did? I did. I certainly did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to have an up-to-date list to read off of.
Yeah. So pretty funny
Good
stuff.
times.
Of course, Jumpin' Joe making very little impact at G7 Summit so far. There's been nothing that's really come out that has been just amazing or over the top. His commitment to cut carbon emissions, and Jumpin' Joe needs to go to places like the Philippines and Central America and breathe in that air. That's where we need climate control.
Come to the border where there's so much fentanyl that I just heard of 2 other young people who were put in ICU because of fentanyl spilling into the border in literally numbers that are just jarring. Take care of your own border, Joe.
So here is a direct
Take
quote.
care of your own folks.
And this is from Max Lawson, who is the Oxfam's head of inequality policy. He says, never in the history of the G7 has there been a bigger gap between their actions and the needs of the world. And he goes on to say, we do not need to wait for history to judge this summit a colossal failure. It is plain for all to see.
Wow. Well, and that's the thing. You've got, very much in D.C., our federal government, our current administration is so out of touch with what's going on in people's backyards. And this is something we've talked about with the Black Lives Matter movement and things of that. I was with, I've caught up with a friend this weekend that I hadn't seen in a while. And she's a Black woman, and she was talking about how she won't even go back and visit her hometown up north. And she said, because she said, my own people took it over and became the ones who are the leaders. And she said, and the crime is so bad, I won't go back and visit my own hometown where I grew up. Yeah. And she said, and I look at the president who is giving lip service and fooling my own people. And she was very upset about this. She said, she was very devastated that you have an administration that has said we're going to get in there. We're going to what's the word I'm looking for? Not rejuvenate the neighborhoods. Rejuvenate. Have these great. Turn these places over. Just get them back to places where people can be proud of. Your kids can go out and play in the park. All this kind of good stuff, and it's just not happening. Now, not that it's not happening because local people in that community are not taking care of their own and their own neighborhoods and stuff. But as far as the administration promising that was going to be a big thing, and they're like, hey, nobody's even visiting us. We haven't seen our own congressman in 10 years.
Yeah. There's
a problem there with that hypocrisy and that. And again, you talk about this great divide. If you're on your throne and you think you know everything, have you been to see the people who are in trouble and who need the help?
No, he hasn't. But here's some more humor, right? This is more G7 humor for Jumpin' Joe. I guess he thinks he leaves our continent and he's okay to be stupid, where it's not going to be at least semi-hidden. Check this out. He goes...
The press doesn't follow him, you mean?
I guess. Biden goes, hey, you know what? I got to be careful. I'm going to get in trouble with my handlers if I fail to take the questions from just the pre-planned list of reporters. He goes, I'm sorry. I'm going to get in trouble with staff if I don't do this the right way, Biden said after calling on Bloomberg News reporter Jennifer Jacobs. So
wow.
So there you go. There you go. There's some more of that. How about that?
So he's even admitting, I'm only allowed to do this, and I'll get in trouble if I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, he said he was supposed to go to Jonathan Lemire of the Associated Press first after he gave his speech.
So then to me, that's not a real press conference.
No, this is a direct quote from Joe Biden. And this is at the conference in the middle of all this.
Yeah.
Now, why don't I take some of your questions? And I'm told, Jonathan, I'm supposed to talk or recognize you first. Yeah. I mean, where's our mental state?
Well, again,
when do we get President Kamala Harris? Because this is coming.
When do you get? Here's the thing: when do you just go? And if you're the president of the United States, if you're the leader of the free world, you know what? Just take whatever questions come up first. Just point to a reporter, get a question. You should know the answers.
So this is fun,
right?
Well, yeah, you should. So this is fun. So he continues to say, after he recognizes somebody, he goes, I'm going to get in trouble with my staff. Yeah, go ahead, but pretend that I didn't answer you.
See, and I think he thinks that's funny.
He chuckled. He thought it was funny.
And here's the thing, JP. Decades ago, that was the kind of used car salesman approach that politicians, not statesmen, politicians took to politics. They thought if they threw out a funny line that the press would run with that and it'd be hot off the presses. People are more intelligent than that nowadays. We've got access to things. Back in the day, that's all you could see was the headlines in the newspaper the next day.
Right.
Nowadays, we can watch your whole entire speech or your whole entire press conference on YouTube. So help me out. The things from 57 years ago when he first got elected, that's not what people want.
No. In fact, this continues to get worse for him, right? So the question was being asked by that reporter about why haven't you lifted the sanctions on the steel and aluminum industry, right? And this is his response. 120 days. Give me a break. Need time. And then he walked off. That's your president.
Okay. Well, and
then there's
that. Then there's that.
So, yeah, just, again, the G7 summit is becoming clearly a state of buffoonism for the United States. People were upset or thinking that President Trump was going to embarrass us. I can tell you I'm feeling pretty embarrassed right now by the way our president is acting and the things that he is saying, almost as if they're already forgivable before he even says them. And if you don't forgive him, too bad. I'll take you off my press list. So very interesting stuff. Don't know that I'm a fan.
Yeah, just, yeah. My mom said, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Sometimes you just have to stick with that.
Well, I'll tell you, we're getting ready to close up shop here, and music
Van Taylor. It looks like we've got Van Taylor
up.
coming back on starting Wednesday. Officer David Tilley of the Plano Police Department, their public information officer, is going to be coming on either Wednesday or Friday and talking to us. Plano's, and let me get this right. Plano's drunk driving fatalities has increased significantly, and that's heartbreaking. You know that drinking during the pandemic has gone up. So I would imagine at times drunk driving has, but now they're saying the fatalities from it, especially in Plano. And as we approach, Father's Day weekend and 4th of July coming up and all of these different things, and everybody's out and about, really got to be careful. So we'll have him on this week to just talk about being safe. Uber, Lyft, if you don't have a designated driver, take care of, if you're not worried about yourself, worry about, the poor innocent family or the poor innocent person driving on the road who's just coming home from, visiting their grandmother in the nursing home or something.
Well, and without, we've run out of time, but just real quick to make mention, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is out.
Yep.
He uses his last speech to really step it up and kind of scorch the earth on that deal. I tell you, it's not good. He attacked Joe Biden and called his administration out in an effort to revive the nuke deal with Iran. Yep. And he said his comments walking out the door, hey, congratulations, you've just given Iran exactly what they've wanted. Yeah. And so
I did send that speech to myself to watch later today. And I heard it was a scorched earth kind of a thing.
Oh, it was.
Some of those comments. Will be interesting to see where his predictions fall on that.
If we have Van on Wednesday, I'm going to ask him about, the thoughts and, what's going on in Congress in regards to this, at least amongst Republicans anyways. All right. Have a wonderful week. We will see you on Wednesday.
Have a blessed one. We'll see you soon. Heart and Soul of Texas Women next.